Hi, I'm Olivia. This is AV Club. Usually I'm talking about literary fiction or horror, and today I'm talking about Dewithon. I've never done Dewithon before, and I really don't do a whole lot of reading challenges anymore because I felt like it would frequently just get me off of like my actual reading goals and plans. However, Heather of Too Many Heathers put a call out into the world that she needs our help in keeping Dewithon alive. And you might be asking, what is Dewithon? It is a reading challenge for the month of March, starting on St. David's Day, which is March the 1st. I'm learning all of this along with you that St. David is the patron saint of Wales. And it's a reading challenge to read as much Welsh stuff as possible within the month. I just couldn't pass up the call to help someone keep something alive that meant something to them culturally. This reading challenge was originally made by a blogger, and it was on a true old-fashioned blog to promote Welsh literature, and it has come to a close that she's saying that she can no longer host Dewithon, and so putting it out into the world. And so it has to be this grassroots effort. And I have never made it an intention to read Welsh literature before, but I do have a Welsh book on my 25 and 25 list, so this is a good time to get to that. And overall, I think it's the right thing to do. So I'll start with the book that was I already mentioned in my 25 and 25 as a physical book I own that I need to get around to this year, and that's Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I have had this book for a while, and I had started reading it at one point, but just never got around to finishing it. And it is like a kind of literary thriller, very atmospheric, about a young girl who is um, employed in thiefly behaviors. And our main character, Sue, is being sent to a country estate to work as the maid and help woo a simple heiress. And apparently, there's a lot of plot twist. There's, I guess, like kind of horrors of the time, like being sent to insane asylums and very gothic and moody. What I remember of it is that it's very feminine in nature. And the only other thing that I really have seen of, like, I've never read a whole Sarah Waters book before, but I saw Tipping the Velvet, and so I trust her ability to write a maybe semi, I don't know how sapphic this book is, but sapphically charged characters. Whenever I mentioned this in my 25 and 25, Cat of Biblioscura reminded me that The Handmaiden, the Korean movie, is like a loose interpretation of this, and I have seen and loved that. And so I think that whenever I get around to actually reading this, that I will love it as well. The next three books, however, I sought out in order to have Welsh books to read. So this isn't everything that I plan to read in March, but I think having four things in mind to read for this is a doable amount of not getting off track of my own reading plans, while also reading stuff that I think I'll actually like, and reading Welsh things. My next book that I want to read this month is How to Catch a Mole by Marc Hamer. So, How to Catch a Mole and Find Yourself in Nature is the subtitle. But it's a nonfiction book about this guy's life as a mole catcher who grew up in rural Wales. I believe that he is still living in Wales, like for the duration, but from the descriptions, it's about the British countryside and the life cycle, the specific behaviors that are specific to the life of a mole, and I don't really know a lot about moles, and I think that they're kind of a maligned creature. I hope that this is not a offensive book to read as a vegan, but I hope that they're very sweet to the moles. I don't know really what mole catching entails. Um, we'll find out. I'm not the kind of person, though, that cannot read something that has animal death in it, and I find it kind of ironic whenever people are like, that they refuse to read a book if they think something bad's going to happen to the dog, but they're not vegan or, trying to not kill animals in other ways. That's a little aside. It's described as beautiful and meditative, and those are the kind of nature writings that I like. So I really hope that I am finding something that I will love. But it seems like the reviews of it really like it, so I'm very hopeful about this story of a mole catcher. The next book that I picked, I wanted to have something that was along the lines of genre reading, since I do love a genre read. And I'm not exactly sure what flavor of speculative this is, but Ragged Alice by Gareth L. Powell. In this book, there is a detective who can literally see the evil in people's souls. How incredible does that sound? She lives in a small Welsh town, grew up in the small Welsh coastal town of Pontypridd. I don't know how to pronounce Welsh words. And she ran away to London and joined the police. I don't usually love a book that um, follows police officers, and I don't know exactly how I feel about the ability to see evil. I feel like that's a very complicated thing to suggest. And so I am ready to dive into this and either find a Welsh genre read that I'm going to love, or um, I think I'm either going to really like this or really dislike this. And I'm looking forward to it. Is a novella, so it's not like um, too much of a commitment if I end up hating it. But we're gonna go in optimistic. Anyway, so she's back in her old hometown and there's some crime to solve, and I'm sure it's gonna use her ability to see the evil in people's souls as some sort of plot point. And I don't know what the mystery is. There's no description of the mystery in the summary, so we'll find out together. And oh my gosh, I am so excited to read this last book. It seems very up my alley, and I just couldn't be more chuffed. And that is George, a Magpie Memoir by Frieda Hughes. And this is a book that also takes place in the Welsh countryside. I guess I should have picked maybe some kind of metro region book as well. Like, we're very, very countryside here. But this is a book from poet and painter Frieda Hughes, a memoir of love, obsession, and feathers. When Frieda Hughes moved to the depths of the Welsh countryside, she was expecting to take on a few. Well, that's not a full sentence. She was expecting to take on a few hobbies, planting a garden, painting, writing her poetry column for the Times, and possibly even breathing new life into her ailing marriage. But instead, she found herself rescuing a baby magpie, the sole survivor of a nest destroyed in a storm, and embarking on an obsession that would change the course of her life. As the magpie George grows into a shrieking scrap of feathers and bones, into an intelligent, unruly companion, Frieda finds herself captivated and apprehensive of what to do, along the course of his life. I love magpies. We have magpies here in Australia. They are very territorial, very smart. I always am very kind to the ones in my neighborhood. Like, I am kind to all birds, but they memorize faces, and I think that's so cool. And so I feel like, although I haven't gotten to feel the intimacy of a of a friendship with a magpie, I believe that it could be quite deep, and I'm looking forward to see what this memoir has in store. So, those are the four Welsh books that I will be reading for Dewithon. Um, and I hope to learn more about Wales over the course of the month as well. Whenever I, for Shorty September, had kind of a Irish theme going on, that I was learning about Irish music. I think I could learn about some Welsh musicians. I couldn't tell you, I'm sure I already listened to some Welsh musicians, but I couldn't tell you who they were. Maybe I'll read some Dylan Thomas as well throughout this month. Um, and I don't know. I think that Wales appeals to me as a place. I think, I know it's very beautiful, but I think it's one of those things that has unfortunately gotten grouped in with England in a way that I think spending some time learning about its unique identity would be a good goal for this next month. But I will link Heather's video down below and the original blog post about what Dewithon is about. And I hope that you join in too, because I think that, you know, spending some time learning about people across the world is always a good goal. So I will talk to you again soon. If you are joining in and you already know you're joining in, if you have recommendations, especially genre reads that you think would fit into stuff that I like, then I'm happy to add on other stuff because I don't actually have self control. I just tried to. But I will talk to y'all again soon. Bye.